there. Okay, so I'm going to actually show you. I'm not sure if your tests that you normally do are created out of Cognero. Um, Cognero does not have this functionality that I'm going to show you. So you actually want to build the test now within MindTap. If you do need Cognero training, you could go to the training site, which is this right here, and find you can find ways to import it into Canvas, but there's not going to be the same functionality. So I would suggest doing this within MindTap. So to create a test, because again, all the assignments, this is my generic course, but all the assignments that are already assigned, they're practice and end of chapter. So I assume you want to create tests. To do that, the best way is to go to your Cengage Now app here. We're going to create the test first, and I'm going to show you where those settings are. And hopefully I've not showed you this before, and if I have, I apologize, but I'm just going to remind you then. It'll be quick on how to do this. So I'm going to go into Cengage Now, and I'm going to say create an assignment, because all the ones that live here are just those practice modules. So I'm going to create an assignment, and this will pull it out of the same test bank that you can find in Cognero. So as soon as I create my assignment, I'm going to say create a test and continue. I'm going to expand this. Please expand. Here we go. I'm going to say midterm and say continue. Then I have the ability to pull from anything here. So I have the homework banks and the test banks. This one, it looks like we have an old test bank, but we have this updated one here. So I'm going to pull from the test banks. I'm going to say chapter 1 and 2, for example. You can pull from multiple chapters or just one at a time. And I'll go to continue. And then we give a filter here. So I have selected 2 chapters. Do I want them all automatically graded? I remove them manually. And I go here, and here it shows these are as many questions as we have for each one. It's not going to give me the essay because I already put manually graded. Multiple choice, true, false. It will filter out, for instance, if I only want to give this many, it'll automatically just random filter out. And I'm going to say continue. Then I have the ability to select the questions or see the questions. If I click the question here, it will populate down here so I can see what it looks like, including the check my work feature that a lot of times might be turned off but I'll show you that. I'm going to move these over here and include those. So I like to do this better the first time anyway, so I move them over and I can like click on them and then remove them from here if I don't like them, and it'll just send it right back over here. So I've done that. I'm going to say continue. Now I have my assignment options, and this is where those options where I was going to show you. You want to give one take, and then you can put a time limit on it so that it really does inhibit students from trying to cheat. 35 minutes. It helps students so that they can't spend time on the web. And then I can actually add a password. So maybe if you add a password, sometimes students that will you they won't get in until they have the password. A lot of times instructors will email it to them. A lot of times this is if it's done in class. Actually, the password isn't really as I think it through if it's an online class. This is more if you're giving it in class so that you're giving it in person so students can't be elsewhere taking the test. I can switch my point value, as you know. This isn't going to be relative because I have one question. I can shuffle the questions for students if I want to. I can regenerate them. And so I have all of those settings. Show question details, response. They will not get the check my work unless this is clicked on. So I'm going to say create the test, and now I've created it, but it just lives in now my Cengage Now homework app on this side of the page. So to put that now into the learning path, I'm going to go to add and create, add an activity, or I can add a unit. So actually I can put it, let's see, I can add a unit, and I can name it again, midterm. I can decide where I want it. So say I want it, after chapter 2. Why is it not giving me? Okay, I'm just going to add it chapter, let's see, before. I'm just putting it in. I can decide where I want it, and I say save. It's going to give me those options again. Oh, no, it didn't give me those. That's okay. Now I have put it, I don't even know where I put it, but I think it's in one of these modules. There it is, midterm. Oh, I actually just created the module, and now I have to put that in there. So actually, you know what, don't do it that way. When you say add and create, say add an activity, then you go to the Cengage Now homework activity, and I can put it within that module if I want to at that point. So I'm going to say Cengage Now homework activity, and I will now select the midterm that I want. So I see the radio button next to anything that's not assigned, and I can say continue. It's going to take me then again into the options, so I can take a look at those options, and I say continue again. Now I can decide my due dates, and I can decide where I want it. So I can actually put it right into the midterm module that I just created and say add. And now if I expand that, it's right here. So that's the best way I would say to do those online, but the time limit is probably going to be your best bet as far as, and then shuffle the questions. In the options, there's a shuffle the questions so students are receiving them differently. So let me know if you have any questions. Hopefully that's helpful to you. But I'm going to be in my office all week working on stuff like this. So if you have questions, let me know.